Welcome back, part 3 of the
Yes.
character interview. Group interview now.
You got both your characters put together for the most part. I'm sure as we're piecing things together as we go along here, there might be some more questions and some things might get fleshed out a little bit more. So this is the first time I'm doing this specific. There is one other group of 3 characters that are going to start the game together. So the 2 of you are going to come in. We'll probably, after this, play a one-shot, maybe 2 one-shots, just to get us through those first couple levels, give you 2 a chance for your characters to kind of bond. I mean, we can sit here and discuss anything all day long, but if you're not actually playing the characters at the table, it's a little hard to then...
Oh, like a one-shot, just us 2 type thing?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little... Without amazing improv skills, it's a little hard to show up to the table on the first day. Sorry.
With that backstory connection.
Yeah, to make it seem like the 2 of you have been already traveling together. So we're going to do that.
I've never seen this man before in my life.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It'll give us a chance to give you kind of a walk around of the area that we're going to be playing in, or starting in anyway. So when we sat down for our session 0, the group decided that they wanted to play around with the Oranarch. The Oranarch is a floating fortress, or at one point it was. It's a cruise ship sized floating bastion of safety, I guess. So giving you a place to do the one shot where you can kind of walk around and tour kind of the small area before you hop on this Oranarch, where everyone wants to go to. So right now, I just have it titled The Creed Collaborate. I might have another title later on down the road. The Creed Collaborate is essentially 3 districts, or I guess almost county-sized areas that all kind of have a representative kind of leader over those areas that have come together and kind of decided that we're going to work together.
So like 10 towns but 3?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Almost exactly.
Okay.
Obviously, instead of the frozen tundra, they're in the wasteland. So that's kind of where I'm going to have everyone start, and then I'll just let everyone kind of play in that little sandbox that's been created before you go on the Oranarch.
What's the average temperature?
The average temperature? Yeah, I mean, it could range. So, I mean...
Depending on where you're at, but...
Yeah, it was pretty hot today, so I'd say on most days it's pretty similar to that. So I'd say on average somewhere between 85 and 95 degrees in this particular area.
Okay.
At night it might drop down to somewhere like 60.
And that's in freedom units, everyone.
Yeah. Yes.
Much better
Not
than...
the other one.
Yeah, the other one,
Well, if it was, that's
real hot.
boiling. Damn near boiling.
Well, it was a calamity, so...
Yeah.
Which character I'd rather be then? One that's either in a boiling climate or in a freezing climate. At least I could put on layers in 10 towns.
Correct. You can only take off so much until you go to jail.
So some of the areas I have worked out are the Bone Flats. This is, again, within the Creed Collaborate. So the Bone Flats is a vast stretch of salt flats with half-buried skeletal corpses of long-dead titans from before the world had shattered. People who live in the flats build homes out of these skeletal structures. I'm just reading off this thing I have. Sometimes several stories tall. Resources are scarce in the flats, with one exception, that being White Bank, a town deep in Bone Flats, using it as a form of protection from wandering creatures and raiders. White Bank has its leader, but the true power comes from this house. It's going to be a brothel, essentially. I have that. A drug manufacturer and a enterprising brothel business keeps the town paid and resources flowing through its town. Traders and nomads from across the waste come to see these people. So that's kind of the Bone Flats. That's the one I have really fleshed out. The other one's going to be the Rust Downs. So the Rust Downs is an area where there once was a city that had been left behind. Not all cities and towns are as lucky as the Skylands to get put into the sky. So here's this one. It's the Rust Downs because most of the metal structures of it are rusted out, but people have decided to make homes in those old kind of structures. There, the town or village is Grand Glen. And their thing that keeps them kind of in power is that they have water.
Oh.
Somewhere in between these kind of districts, I'm still working out the third district here, but somewhere in between these districts is a Ornar port or dock where it stops, gathers resources, drops off when it needs to.
Now, are these places on the surface then?
Yes, all
Okay.
these places on the surface. So the Creed Collaborate you could think of as a county or like a district, and then the Rust Downs, Bone Flats. I guess Creed Collaborate is more of a county. Rust Downs, Bone Flats, and then there's going to be a third one, are these kind of districts within that. Each harboring maybe a couple of small villages, real small villages, and then one kind of main town that they have. So that's kind of the idea for where you're going to start. So for the two of you, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, you're going to be looking to get
a unit.
A unit. So kind of as we were building the characters together, I kind of was turning the gears on this. So perhaps in one of these towns, you could choose. So Grand Glen is going to be the town where a lot of water comes from. White Bank is going to be kind of the social exports, essentially drugs. There's probably some gambling, and then the brothel as well. And then the third place, which again I haven't yet to name, is going to have its mining there. So that's where they're going to do mining.
That's in the Rust Downs?
No, this is in one I have not selected. In the Rust Downs is Grand Glen.
Yep.
That's where they have water.
I'm assuming that's where the nature person would go. A place with water, and not the place that is completely corrupt. Corrupt.
Yeah. Well, maybe. A lot of these places here, it's going to give you a different kind of genre. So, within Nexus, I built Nexus in my head to be able to suit all kinds of genres, and not only 5th edition D&D, but also other kinds of games if we ever wanted to play. So, it's possible that within Nexus, in the campaign setting itself, you can play Call of Cthulhu with changing some things around,
sure.
Obviously. There's kids on bikes, but you could do. There's also kids on brooms. So things like that, where you can genre bend the world pretty easily. So we just did a one-shot where it was in New Haven, where it was much more populated. It was closer to like Coruscant, where there's kind of like a little intrigue, some criminals going around.
Is that the one I was in?
Yep, the one we just
I was
did.
in the first half anyway.
Yep. So that kind of was where they were kind of going around and they were trying to get a feel for some mystery. They were kind of being detectives, but on a Suicide Squad type level. Where in the Creed Collaborate, at least in the beginning portions of our game, it's going to feel probably pretty Western.
Okay.
So that's kind of the genre where I'm heading to for this kind of area. So with that being said, you're going to be, if you choose Grand Glen to start, which kind of sounds like that probably
yeah.
makes the most sense.
That's the place that has the water then?
Yeah, so Grand Glen, I don't have a lot of information about it, but what I do think of it is being a set of these buildings that people have kind of built up to kind of function as a small town or city. Maybe the buildings are taller because that's just how the old buildings used to be. So maybe it's only 20 buildings, but they're all 3 stories high or something like that, or more.
I was picturing, man, what is that? That game. It's like Dark Souls, but with guns.
Bloodborne?
No. From the Ashes.
Not familiar. So in Grand Glen, I imagine on the edge of town, or just on the outside of town, that they have water, and they send people to go and get it, porters to go and get this water and bring it in. And then maybe, yeah, Aeon Co. comes here to give off some of their units.
Remnant from the Ashes.
Don't hurt it.
Highly suggest.
I think I remember that.
It's fun.
Okay, so Anko. Oh, sorry. So back up. So Zoku. Is that what we went with?
Oh yeah.
Pronunciation
yeah.
was? Zoku. Okay,
Matt
so
Turtle.
yeah,
Turtle buddy.
so maybe he lives in Grand Glen.
Zoku, I think.
Yeah.
No R.
Yeah, Zoku.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he lives in Grand Glen.
Okay.
Or nearby.
Or nearby, yeah.
And you've come down to speak with them. They've given you some information about Aeon Co. coming through town to loan out some of their units. We'll say maybe for free to just it's a test
Just
run.
test, see how they do on the surface.
Yeah. So here's our units. The first 3 people that come, or 5 people that come by to secure one of these units, does so, and then bring it back to the Orinarch. Oh, Orinarch, yeah. In whenever it's supposed to show up. We'll say a month. Bring it back, and then we'll kind of get some feedback from you. And that's kind of maybe the deal they make, unless you got something you want to add.
I like it.
Something,
I like it.
something extra. Let me see. And yeah, so they mostly are just using these units to give away as bodyguards. Maybe the leader that's within Grand Glen secures one of them, just to have a personal bodyguard that's doesn't need to be paid.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Or probably fed.
Yeah.
And other resources.
Maybe the porter picks one up to help carry additional water back. Small things like that, really. You're giving them the people that could really use them and put them to use rather than just
hey, here's a robot.
Yeah, just any old person. So you come by, you give a little story about your Wilder thing, and here you go, Unit 196.
196. You know, I'm the person I'm trying to clean up this area a little bit.
Alright, so in 1 month, you bring it back to the Orinarch. They'll speak with you and kind of get a survey, essentially, of the product. And then they'll pick it up at the next stop that the Orinarch makes.
How long are months here?
How long are months here? Ooh, that's a good one. So it's not a month.
In one cycle.
Yeah, so bring back to the Orinarch when it essentially shows up. I can explain the months here. I'm going to go off on a tangent about the months in a second, though. So I'll just ask if you have anything else you want to add to this. Otherwise, I think I mean, like I said, you're fresh out of the box, so it's pretty hard to kind of have like anything. But maybe there's an adventure. Have you already gone on, maybe? Or some kind of job that you might have did already?
Well, what's the process of getting to Grand Glen?
Yeah, I mean, they could have just shipped you right in. They could come down on an airship.
I thought you said she would have got me from the Owen-Ark, and then we would have had to make our way to Grand Glen.
No.
They came to Grand Glen and
Yeah.
Grand Glen said,
Yeah.
"Here you go." She found out from
Yeah.
Zoku. Zoku said, "Hey, in Grand Glen, Aonko's coming down to bring a few of these new Aonko units for free if you have a chance to go get one."
Gotcha.
Made your way there to get one of these units and was one of the first 5 people in line to secure 196 as a companion. Told you have to come and bring it back to the Ornark when it makes port in the Creed Collaborate, and that's when they'll survey you and question you on the usefulness of the product, essentially. So, product testing. Anything you want to add to that? Is there any adventure that you already gone on by the time we start our one-shot? Or is the one-shot launch right?
I think the unboxing and then we go.
Okay.
I feel like I would have been, like, came here at least, like, once or twice, been out already. Maybe did a couple little skirmishes.
Yeah, for sure.
Or whatnot.
Um,
Dipped my toes in
okay.
a
Yeah.
little bit already.
But nothing
So-
with 196.
No.
Okay.
That would be fresh.
Yep.
He's like, hey, how about you stop attempting to die every time and have something to help you? That sounds great. Yeah, I'll get a buddy.
But you're still loner enough to not get a person.
Yes. Yes. Yep. I mean, I do have the one friend that we kind of mentioned, but not really went into a whole lot. That's kind of... haven't really thought of that a lot.
You have a friend? Other than Zoku?
I thought we agreed that I might have had another friend, but never really went into it quite yet.
Yeah. We can if you have something for it.
I don't yet. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we
Good
can always come
idea.
back with NPCs.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be it for our kind of group thing. This was pretty quick. So this is, again, my test run, so I don't know what the other group is going to look like. They have 3 people in there, so it might look a little different. But yeah, and yeah, so cool. So just going on to the calendar thing, tangent. I don't know if these are quite right. Okay. So, I did a lot of playing around with calendars and orbits. There's a program where you can put into orbit different things at different... I can't even think of the shape that the orbit makes. Anyway, I was trying to figure out how exactly all of that worked so that I knew what I was talking about scientifically when it came up. But it's crazy. I pulled a lot from like Saturn and Jupiter because they have multiple moons. So like here on Earth, real world, we take our months are based around the moon cycle in a way, where it's like 4 weeks. It kind of goes through the full moon cycle. So I did it a little bit different. I did my months based on the moons, but in the fact that it's based on how fast each moon does one orbit around Nexus as a planet. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the first moon, Zoa, makes its... I gotta double check this to make sure I'm saying the right stuff. But it makes its orbit around Nexus in 1 day. So, like our moon normally does. So that is a month. Is 1 day. So then it goes on to the next moon in orbit, and then it counts how many days that one takes to go around. And then it just so on and so forth. If that makes sense. So by the end, you're dealing with a moon that I don't really have a name for other than the name that it's been assigned, which is not a name, it's symbols and letters. Which is like, I wish this would not be
It's almost like a clock
crashing right now.
with the multiple moons to dictate.
Okay. And then I had it, and then it goes away. Okay, so I have 9 months. I think I still use the 360 or 365 days because I just found that would be easy.
To relate to it, yeah.
Yeah. But the first moon takes 2 days, so that the month is 2 days long, and then 9 days. So the next month is 7 days. And then the next month is 21, 35, 39, 58, 73, 77, and 125 days. The last one. So you can't really go based off of months. That's what I was trying to get at before. Because
you go by the lunar cycle of how many days it is until the ship returns, basically.
Yeah. Days a week because that makes sense. I don't know what's up with this 7. Whoever did that.
Have you seen the lunar calendar where it's 10 months, I believe?
Based off of the cycle of the.
It's called the oh no, it's the solar. That's what it is. The solar calendar.
Yeah.
And it's 13 months. That's what it is. 12 months of 4 weeks, still 7 days.
Right.
And then 1 month is 1 day long every year, and then every 4 years it's 2 days long. And no one works those 2 days.
I mean, I like that. I like Faerun's calendar. I didn't want to do mine the same as Faerun because I wanted to do something kind of weird because my moon planet situation is weird. But like for Faerun, it's really nice. It's just like you're saying, every month is. Well, they have 10 days, which is even smarter than, I don't know, 7 days. It's weird. So 3 10 days for every month. Still 12 months. And then those last, whatever it is, 4 days, I think, end up 4 or 5 days because of leap year. It's just a holiday at the end of each season. So you get 3 months and then it's a holiday.
Nice.
And then I think there's... in the leap year, then there's just 2 holidays in a row, so similar to kind of what you were saying.
Gotcha.
Where it's just 2 days in a row. I like that, but I don't understand where they got our real life calendar from. So tangents, that's what we're good at here. So anything else? I think I got everything that I need currently. Everything I think has been said. All the questions have been asked. I will have these documents in my Google Drive, so you'll be able to go and look at them to reference. Right now it just looks like a bunch of jumbled notes that I just kind of put together, but I'll reorganize and add information that I got from you back in. And yeah, I might have questions later on. But I think that's going to be it.
Yeah.
If we're good.
Sounds good to me.
So that was our after session 0 character interview pre-campaign. So session 0.5, if you will. I do that just to get a little bit more information from the players about their characters, especially in something that's going to be player driven. We're not doing a pre-written campaign, so if it's homebrew, then I like to do this. I could come up with plots all day long, but I think it's more interesting to come up with plots based off of your backgrounds and kind of,
Where we came from.
Yeah.
Where we are.
Yeah.
Gets the players into it a little bit more, too.
For sure, 100%. Anything else to add?
Nope.
Well then.
Till next time.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, and don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, share it with literally everyone you know, post it up at your work, everything.
Anyone and everyone.
It'd be annoying.
Your dog, don't care, sure, let's do it.
Create them a Google and YouTube account just so that they can like and subscribe.
Yep, and then also all the social medias for them so they can share it on all of those as well. Let's not lie, they'll get more likes than we will.
For sure. 100%. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good game.
A good day.